So I made a new friend on Thursday. I went for a walk with Michael, like 2 to 3 hours, and something happened. I got something really precious. Um, it's a I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of a paradigm shift for me. Uh, it prompted me to share that video on gifting, on my favorite gift, and that's kind of the topic. It's authentic gifting, and we're gonna do something on Tuesday together. What are we gonna do?
Go for another walk, share more conversations. Yeah, about authentic gifting. So tell some stories. I've been offered land in Africa by the river in tropical paradise, the kind of paradise that Americans just dream of, as a gift.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been a taxi driver in San Francisco. I told you about gifting me a 25 or $30 taxi ride. I've been gifted dinner by a stranger in the Buenos Aires airport. I've been gifted 80 grand by a client who believed in my work. She just gave it, no strings attached. I've been.
And those are awesome. But I think what I'm more inspired by is what you've been gifting,
Mm,
or there's just a way about you that really resonates for me. That
mm,
like it feels really authentic to who you are. Like
yeah,
'cause you've been living for a couple of years, and you've been both gifting your gift and accepting and actually really receiving others.
gifting and receiving. Gifting big and gifting small, receiving big and receiving small. And it's kind of turned into a whole path, like almost like a spiritual path, if you will. Um, it comes with just like such ease of movement in the world, like no stress, lots and lots of gratitude, um,
Relationships, like actually friendships,
a
right? Like
wealth of friendships. It's transformed my level of like how humble I am in just connecting with people.
how
You
has
know,
it done that? How's the humility come up?
um, well, one, not promoting myself, actually taking on as a practice to not promote myself. So if people don't ask, I don't tell people, and even if they ask, I often give them a unclear answer.
Which is true. Yeah, we talked for 3 hours, and I had to like pull it out of you. What you do? I'm still not quite sure what your
Yeah,
big intensive workshops
yeah,
are
and it's
about.
great. I mean, I promoted those for years. It, you know, I don't know. It's
So what
one,
feels?
I don't need money from doing that. I really don't need money. I don't need much money at all.
How do you not need money right
Um, People are generous. Cost of living is what is cost of living? I mean, how much does clean air cost? Well, in the city, maybe it costs something, but most places on the planet it's free. It's a gift, right? The warmth of the sun is a gift. The fish in the sea, the mangoes from the tree, all these things are gifted. People care about you. Love is a gift. Like what is cost of living? There's only a cost of living you know, if we live in a modern civilization that um, has a lot of fees and taxes and all this kind of stuff. And but if you're not generating income, well, there's no income tax. you know, I mean, there's a whole wealth of gifting. Everything in the trade economy is taxed and regulated and all this kind of stuff. But
now? They
if you
haven't they
invite,
haven't gotten to gifts yet.
right,
They haven't gotten
they're
around to
not
taxing
taxing,
gifts.
right? I mean, because if you invite me over for dinner, um, that's a gift, right?
Hmm.
But if you make a dinner and sell it to me, it's as a restaurant or a cafe or a delivery service, then there's a tax and all this kind of stuff.
Which just reminds you of Charles Eisenstein sacred economics.
Yeah,
How like how our money system basically encourages me to actually sell you the dinner instead of gifting it to you.
yeah,
There's this sense there's a sense I got in our conversation that I'm remembering that I love giving. Like I'm actually a really giving person, and somehow I forget, and it's like there's a voice inside of me that tells me I'm not a giver, that I shouldn't, I want to take care of myself. And I think that's kind of a societal voice too.
Well, there's a lot of energy around taking in our
Mm-hmm.
culture. And even, I mean, when we say gifting, we're not talking about free, right? I mean, something.
Yeah, that's an important distinction that you made. What's the difference between free giving for free and gifting for you?
Free is like, putting an old sofa out on the street and just letting whoever come take it, right? Like there's no gratitude, it's just free. It's like
Mm.
it's a worthless kind of thing, It's like I don't need it. You can have it. It's free. But if I take like the other video you shared, like the girl takes her jacket off her back and she gives it to you. Like
Yeah.
that's a gift, you know. That's a gift. She saw you needed it and she gave it to you. And like, who cares if it cost her something? She had a desire to give it to you. So there's the relationship there, There's the gratitude, and with this path of living, like my sense of like living in a magical world, and a world where people are generous and kind and they care. I mean, it's confronted some of my ideas about people and stuff like that, and it's in a beautiful way.
Huh.
And I'm relaxed. Like I can go to a new city where I don't speak a language. They don't speak my language. You can drop me off, and I'll be okay. I'll be taken care of because people care. People care, and it requires skill sets different from making a lot of money or building a business. But I've received a lot of wealth as far as amazing relationships, time. I have a wealth of time. Like I don't know when I'm leaving Boulder, and I have no plan. This workshop ends tomorrow. I have no plan for Monday. The only thing on my list next week is I'm gonna get together with you and go for a walk on Tuesday.
Yeah. I felt moved when you said people care. I think this is the biggest gift that the gift economy can give us, me, is just um, this confirmation that people care. And that's also my fear. Like when I look at it, like what if I take a shot and like know, I offer my gift and then it turns out that people don't care, we're wrong.
Well, even if you don't offer your gift, like you connect with people, people will care. People care about you. I mean, like if I step off the bus in some city in South America, I don't even need to give a gift. People will help me out. Like people care. People give to me. You know?
I haven't traveled in South America, so I don't know. I imagine it makes sense given what I've heard. And at the same time, it's such a like I'm American and I'm Romanian, but I've lived in America for 21 years, 22 almost, and part of me thinks like I've adapted the American values so much that I can't even imagine what it's like in Romania, where my family and my dad and I were traveling through the countryside, and we stayed with a host family, and my dad tried to give them money, and they refused to take it, so he had to like hide the money under a pillow when we left, so they find it later.
Which in a way can even be an insult. It's like you didn't really fully receive their gift, But there's a lot of the distinctions around the whole gifting and receiving thing that I'm learning. And
do you think? Yeah.
It depends. It depends culturally. I mean, because if you're in the Middle East, a lot of places in the Middle East, like I was in Kuwait, someone offers you something, it's rude to actually accept it.
Really?
Right.
No.
Unless they've offered like more than 3 times. If you just flat out receive it, then that's rude. So I mean, there are a lot of different cultural things around this, and living from gifting in the U.S., I think it's a little bit different than South America. You know what I mean? It's like, but
Well, maybe the gifting skill is that it? Is it like maybe gifting is a skill that you get better at?
Yeah.
and maybe I'm not.
It's, it's completely undoing my whole way of being, my personality, my way of organizing my life, everything.
Because generally the way people dismiss any kind of progress or like someplace you got to, like a way that people justify the remaining where they're at is like, oh yeah, but you were probably born that way.
Yeah, I was.
Were you? Really?
In spiral dynamics terms, I couldn't have been more orange from the time I was maybe 25 to 35, 41 now. And yeah, I mean, orange meaning, my business a number of years ago was called Wealth Warrior. Wealth Warrior Academy, Wealth Warrior Boot Camps. And yeah, it still had a lot of heart involved, but it was very, and I was very much kind of aggressive, dominant, confident / arrogant.
I don't know anything about that.
And in the States, I always felt separate from other guys. I just felt I'm different,
Because
Well, I grew up Mormon.
uh,
I think that's part of it. We are always outsiders, But there was the evil world out there, and then there was the righteous people, So that had something to do with it. I kind of learned to like my ego strategy or my way of surviving was withdrawing, the aloof, quiet, person who draws energy by people wondering, well, what's he thinking, and what's he doing, kind of the mysterious whatever. And now I'm the opposite, Like I really connect, and I didn't have any time to connect before. This is a big thing I have a wealth of now. Like before,
I just thought of my friends from New York. Since everyone in New York is always booked.
yeah, like you want to give your gift around here, and people don't even have time in their schedule to receive it, let alone.
Around here is even in Boulder, right?
I don't know about Boulder, but I'm thinking back in Austin. You got to work so hard just to be able to give your gift. Get people to show up just so you can give them something. You know what I mean? I mean, even inviting them to a party, it can be a lot of work. In Africa, though, someone invites you for tea, like they've got all day and night for you. Invite you for tea, you leave 6 hours later.
That's how it was in Romania too. Plus, you can just drop by unannounced. Here, I mean, I don't know if and where people do that.
Who even knows their neighbors in the States? A lot of places people don't even know their neighbors.
This is so cool about this building in Interval Center is that I know I can come here, and it is like the village commons. After watching the Charles Eisenstein video, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to San Francisco. I'm gonna create a common. So we need more commons.
Yeah, it's a gift. This place is a gift. Yeah. Anyways, shall we? So we're gonna be talking about stuff like this on Tuesday.
We don't know exactly what we're gonna do on Tuesday, right? But except that I'm gonna you have more to gift me.
Well, we're gonna talk about how can you gift your dance workshops? How can you give your gift in a much bigger way, in a way that generates wealth for you on all levels? Not just money, but connection, relationship, time.
Yeah, and the thing that had me excited when we talked about it 2 days ago was, like what like the gift that I got in dancing in my life 16 years ago is immeasurable. Like, and just even the way that's percolated for a lot of people, like a lot of people have been impacted by the fact that I started dancing. And it all started with a free Friday night swing dance at Dartmouth in 1998, 7. And somebody took responsibility to show up every Friday with a boombox and neo swing music, and
And they probably don't even know how that's transformed your world.
yeah, I'm trying to remember the guy's name who was running it. And, yeah, I'm actually just taking a moment to feel that gratitude. Like some guy did it. Like there were a couple of brothers. One of his brothers was a quarterback for the Dartmouth football team. I could probably figure out who it is and send him an email. That might be fun. Like, hey, you know what happened?
So paying it forward, right?
And I've paid it forward somewhat, but I think what I got is that certainly for much of my time organizing dances, I wasn't gifting it with a totally open heart. Like there's something I wanted to get out of it. Just it wasn't like I wasn't debt free, which is something you talk about. But I was like, there's something like it almost feels like in order to give the way you suggest gifting, like you have to be whole. Like if I'm not whole, I'm not going to be able to offer a gift and have it be really with no strings attached. And I wasn't whole; I was suffering for most of my time.
What do you mean whole?
Like whole, like okay, and know that you're okay.
Mm.
And
I don't know. I mean, if someone comes up to you on the street and like they've just been shot and like they're dying, and you can just give them time, right? Help them get to the hospital and like
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah,
I don't know if you. I mean, it's just.
I have a story, right?
To just enter a place of just giving everything, like giving everything, maybe makes you whole.
Maybe there's a state and there's a stage, And I've definitely been in the state of gifting, but I wanted the stage. Like I want to be there permanently.
Yeah, I'm interested in like how I can. For me, what I'm really interested in is how can I step into the world with even more trust, just giving and then trusting I'll be taken care of.
Yeah, Nicole told me about the blog of this guy who decided to circumambulate America, and not pay for any rides, any food, anything. He was a journalist, and he actually stayed with her in Tucson, and he needed a ride to El Paso, and she said, okay, well, you can stay in my house, but I'll ask around, but I don't know if anybody will be. And then the next day, some French traveler asked her if she knew how he could get a ride to El Paso. And she was like, okay, that's too crazy a coincidence. Emailed both of them and said, I'm going to drive you guys the 5 hours to El Paso.
That's great. That's great. I've heard so many stories being on the road the last couple of years.
Yeah? Like that?
Yeah.
You got any?
Well, I mean, first thing that comes to mind, the whole couch surfing community is a gifting community. I've got my own stories around that, but I was talking with a girl in Argentina, and a lot of people have an interesting, like, first experience in the couch surfing community that's really pretty beautiful. And hers was that her husband invited these people in to couch surf at their place for the first time. Strangers, right? You don't know them. And they leave for work this day. The people that own the house, they leave for work, and the strangers are there at their place. And she's all day long. She's going, I'm crazy. What was I thinking? There's strangers in my house. I'm gonna come back. There's not gonna be anything there.
Okay.
So she gets home and she's like judging herself all day, right? Opens the door. The place has been cleaned. Candles are lit. There's a dinner, cooked by these people, a special dinner of their own cuisine, as a gift from the couch surfers to their hosts, And stories like that, it just living in this state of gifting, it transforms your idea about the kind of world we live in. You know, even when I left the States and I experienced a whole new level of connection with people like in South America and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking, I started having judgments about Americans, like more and more judgments about Americans.
Mm-hmm. Like I just shared a minute ago.
But then I came back and I realized, wow, how many beautiful people there are in America, beautiful, generous people. And I realized that it was me that changed. People in South America were responding to me, you know, who I was being, which was completely different than how I was being in America.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So I've brought that back to America, and you know, it's changing my life, and I'm like so much so like the transformation of me is so for me it's so amazing. It feels so amazing that I'm just going to continue on this path for the indefinite future. I'm excited to go back to South America, keep traveling the world this way, but also with the circling work that's happening here at the center and the deck and everybody's doing. That's the kind of connection I was experiencing and living the way I was living. So it's tempting to maybe want to stick around here for a little while. But yeah, I think Americans in general, more and more Westerners in general, a lot of us are bankrupt in that department in the area of connection, like connection to other people, connection to our heart, connection to nature. And for me, this path, it's not just about gifting, it's about a different way of being, in the world.
It's funny because you said bankrupt. I went to financially bankrupt, which is also true, or increasingly true for people.
Mm.
And didn't somebody just share a quotation in Incubator today? Something like, when you run out of money, you reach out to people. You have to connect to people, or something like.
Yeah. Well, Americans. I think what makes America even a more perhaps dangerous place than a lot of other places is, when shit hits the fan, there's another economic collapse, which really reasonably might not be that far out, and people don't even know their neighbors, and they're scared.
But, they'll find out their neighbor's name. Like, I mean, in Romania, we used to borrow the beef bones to cook soup. Is the saying.
Wow.
Yeah, you go to the neighbor, like, constantly knocking on the neighbor, like, do you have any sugar? Can we borrow some?
Yeah.
People like my dad and his friends would not trade favors, but just true gifting economy. Just they'd be upset if you would try to pay back or somehow count it. Like that'll be an affront.
Yeah, I had a
Under
friend.
communism.
I had a friend who traveled to the Philippines, and he was sharing a story about how he had a Filipino girlfriend he'd met there, and they were sitting in the living room or whatever, and all of a sudden, like, there's these people that walk in and they go into the kitchen and they start getting out the food and like eating the food and stuff, and he's like, "Who are these people?" you know?
Mm-hmm.
And his girlfriend replied like, "Oh, they're neighbors of a couple houses down." It's just like that's the level of sharing, that happens there. And even people with money there will put their homes like right next to someone else. I mean, like literally, like no yard space, like right next to someone else, because that's the level of connection that they want, that they're used to. And I invite people to go on the road and
I want to go on the road with you.
transformational adventure, a deep dive. Yeah.
All right.
So,
We haven't talked much concretely about it, but I think this is more just like who we are, like who you are, and
you're thinking of Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, say if anyone's watching this video,
If you made it until the end.
you're in the area, you want to join us for a conversation, maybe a walk, maybe wondering like how you might apply it in your own life, or with giving your gift, giving your workshop, or whatever. We're going to talk about that stuff. And I've learned a lot about like what not to do. I've learned a lot of things the hard way. And
I think the context is that I wanna practice. The reason we're getting together on Tuesday is I get it, like makes sense, great idea, and I don't want to wait until I apply it. So I'm gonna, Michael's gonna give me a little bit more of his attention and ideas around gifting, um, ideas around non-marketing.
And I'm going to spend time with you. I love the way you talk about the dance that you teach, but not just the dance that you teach, but like the real kind of the gift underneath the dance, which has something to do about like your connection to yourself and your connection to the other person, and the gift of transformation and everything that can happen inside of that. I feel like this relates.
Yeah.
Because the gifting is a dance in a sense, the giving, receiving.
It's all about relationship and connecting.
Yeah.
And we can connect through gift. Like people don't think, at least I don't think a lot, like I'm gonna connect to you through gifting and receiving. But I've noticed it, like in my village workshop, it happens with my elders, like giving their time, like giving one full day to support beginners, and
People love to do it.
people love to give.
Yeah.
I'm constantly like, my first day, the village workshop is, 10 advanced dancers or elders support 10 new dancers, and I kind of hold space, and we all have fun together, and we get close. The first time I did it, I called up my first elder, and I was thinking like, yeah, I have some beginners, and I have, and I'd love you to come in and help me with this workshop. I forget exactly what I said, but they were like, "Oh, how much does it cost? How much will it cost for me?" I was like, "No, like you're invited to be here for free." But there's a way that like for them, it was so much value that they'd be willing to pay.
It's a gift that you gave them the opportunity to give.
Which is so incredible that advanced dancers in the dance community don't get the opportunity to share all this wealth of experience and body of knowledge that they've amassed over the
And where
years.
does it come from that like, oh, you have to have some kind of teaching degree, or you have to have a business, or like so many more ancient communities, or even not that long ago, just operate through gifting and receiving. Just the aunt teaches her niece dance.
Well, I'll tell you where it comes from. I mean, I have a guess that it's the guilds. Like you don't just give advice to a friend. You go get a psychology degree so you can do it better. But that's they make sure that they kind of limit the people who give advice.
This is something I'm really passionate about, because I think one of the reasons for like a lot of sense of fear and scarcity in our world is that everything has become monetized like this. And the things that used to be given freely as a gift from our elders to each other have now been taken away and monetized and made scarce, made artificially scarce. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying for you? Like kind of a challenge, like a 6-week challenge or a 6-week course where it's about going and doing, like people from, let's get like 100 people from around the world who are committed, like I'll be one of them, and it's not just like we talk a little bit on Monday, and then like what are you taking on this week? Like how can you find 10 ways to give,
Yeah,
like
gifting and receiving and kind of moving into this world, And this is how you move into this world, by gifting and receiving. And then your world starts to slowly become more and more and more of this. If you wanted to take it to the next level, you could do like I've done and renounce debt. So I'm not borrowing any money, and I'm not loaning any money. Someone comes to me and they need some money, I'll give them what I have in accordance with my heart. If I need money, I'm welcome. I'm open to receive the gifts of other people.
I'm not committing to pay back.
I'm not doing alone. Yeah, it's not about payback, you know. So, I like that idea though. We should do that.
Yeah.
Announce it right now.
Cool. All right. This has been fun. Tuesday, 3 to 6 p.m. Integral Center in Boulder.
3 to 6. Do we even need the room?
Yeah. Let's have the room and then go for a walk
Okay.
if it comes up.
All right. 3 to 6.